So, yeah, I think we should be good.
Good.
So,
Good.
my name's Jeff, first of all.
Hi.
So, what's your name?
My name is Pranav.
Pranav?
Pranav. P.
So, P-R...
A-N-A-V.
N-A-V, Pranav. Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, so, what do you think happens after we die? What's your take on that?
That's an interesting question. I think what we have been taught is people go to heaven or hell depending on their needs.
Yeah.
I personally feel they are still in this world as an energy, and they just transform into something else.
Okay. So, sounds like you were raised in a particular belief, but you've kind of gone beyond that.
I read. I like to understand people's perspective on different things, not be very narrow-minded about one particular approach.
Yeah. Now, I'm guessing you're from where? India?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes, I'm from India.
Do you have a Hindu background?
Yes.
Or I know there's a lot of different religions in India.
I have a Hindu background.
Okay. Did you? Would you say that you really believed in Hindu beliefs for a long time and then have changed, or like what? It sounds like you've gone beyond that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think I don't see it as a religion. I see it as a way of life.
It's definitely a culture. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I think I think it's a very liberal religion from my perspective.
Yeah.
Because you might have heard, and a lot of people have heard, like you have thousands of gods.
Right. Yeah.
And you can just follow anyone you want.
Yeah.
There's no particular restrictions on it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I love. And what I've tried doing is I've tried understanding why you do particular stuff. For example, why do you? So if you go to any Hindu temple, you would ring a bell before you enter into a temple.
Okay.
I don't know whether you know about that.
No, I didn't know that.
So you ring a bell before.
Does that mean they lock the doors and that's
No.
It's not like a doorbell.
It's not like a doorbell. It's just hanging there and you ring a bell.
Oh, you ring a bell. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of electric bell.
No, it's traditional. It's been followed for a very long time.
Yeah.
What it does is it actually kills germs in your body with that vibration of that sound.
Okay.
So that's what I read about it. So there's a lot of scientific reasons for the things what you do.
So you believe that's a scientific fact? Oh, okay. Must be. Is it a big bell? Like,
yeah.
I would think it would take a lot of vibrations.
Yeah. It's like you go to any Hindu temple, just notice that there will be a bell.
Oh, okay. And is that a local? So my impression of Hinduism is, okay, I've heard that there are thousands and maybe even millions of gods, right? I mean, no one person could keep track of all those gods. So I'm thinking maybe it's a local, like every localized area has its own gods, and when you add up all the different localities, that's why there's so many, or it's not like that?
So this is again from the limited understanding what I have.
Yeah. Because you grew up in just one part of India, and so you've got your experience. But,
exactly.
Yeah.
So there's this lot of really well-known gods like Shiva, Ganesha, and Saraswati, and Lakshmi, Brahma. So there are these well-known gods, and as you go towards each, as you go every 20 kilometers, there are different versions of this god. So people believe, some believe this person is the version of this god. So it actually relates to the main god. It's a little bit complicated, but
would it have a different name then?
Yeah, it has a different name.
So it's and from what I understand, in Hinduism is basically they're all manifestations of the same god.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the same god taking different forms.
Yes.
And now the bell thing, is that pretty universal?
Yeah, it's pretty universal.
For Hinduism?
Yeah, I think just to elaborate on what you just said, manifestation of the same god. Now, each god, I see a god as a character. For example, you should do these things to attract knowledge. You should do these things to attract wealth. You should do these things to lead a very peaceful life.
Yeah.
So every god has different characteristics, and I look at it from that perspective.
Now, are you pretty familiar with Christianity, or?
Yeah, kind of.
Because I think Christianity is probably it has a lot in common with a lot of different religions.
Right.
Human nature, I think, is the main thing that causes it to have a lot in common. And one of the things of human nature is to use religion for our own selfish purposes.
True.
And so there's aspects of Christianity where people are preaching, especially like TV preachers,
Right.
where they're saying, if you pray this prayer, or if you buy this holy water, or if you do this or you do that, you'll have good health, or
A
you'll
contract
have
with a god.
you'll have wealth. It's basically for kind of like a blessing in this life. Like you'll. So
Right.
how much of your experience of Hinduism is like that, where they're just, people are kind of in it for like, how can I be blessed
Right.
with my family, or with my health, or with my wealth? Is it a good luck charm? Is it, see what I'm saying?
I think people are really selfish from their perspective. They want good things for themselves and their family, and I cannot blame them.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I believe a lot of these things are based on your karma. If you understand, like the things that you do in your life. Like I cannot be healthy without eating good food, good quality of food, without exercising or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot grow wealth without hard working, being truthful and being honest about things.
Yeah.
So I think I believe in karma, and you should I feel God is there. What we have been taught is God is everywhere. Like God is in trees, God is in this grass. There is a divine power which will always do your 50% and rest 50% God will take care of.
Yeah.
But do your 50%. So that's the most important part, and I feel you should be doing that, and don't get into this contracts with God where I will
let's make a deal.
Yeah. I'll give you this thing, and please give me this thing.
Yeah.
I think people should not do that. I think on a personal level, I've traveled to a lot of places in India, and if the feeling or the energy which you get from helping someone or supporting someone who is actually in need is very powerful.
Yeah.
It goes a very long way. And I feel if you practice those things, and if you practice gratitude every day, I think it gives a lot of energy for yourself.
Yeah. And do you believe? Well, so there's your beliefs, and then there's Hinduism.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily believe everything Hinduism believes. You were saying that you believe it's more like energy, that we, when we die, our energy continues to exist, but it kind of changes forms. Is there a particular reason why you've gone? Well, I'm not quite sure what Hinduism would say about that, but I guess that there's reincarnation and everything.
Yeah.
So, is there a particular reason you've strayed away from the Hindu beliefs? I guess.
It's not I've stayed away from the Hindu beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
I still go to temples. I still pray. So those things happen, but I feel temple, the reason it is the scientific reasons. What I like, if you look at the way how structures are built, or any holy places are built, it is built in a format to give you positive energy. So I believe in that. That's why I go to these holy places.
Okay.
And I think it gives me a lot of energy to live that day, or to live next few days.
Okay. So so it's kind of a mixture of science and or I think what I hear you saying is that the truth of these different truths in Hinduism, you're finding out that there's actual science behind them.
Yeah.
And I think whatever is going to last from one generation to another and benefit people from one generation to another, it's going to have a certain level of truth to it.
Course,
people aren't going to live for a lie for too long. So, do you think it's possible to have a personal relationship, like give and take, communication with the Almighty God, the Creator God? I don't know. I don't want to say like any of the different Hindu gods, but just the ultimate
of course.
God.
I feel any person who is religious, or person who truly believes in a particular energy, I think I derive energy from that divine being. That there is an individual one-on-one relationship with the Almighty God.
It's like when you pray, are you just reciting prayers that you memorized, or are you actually saying, like, kind of pouring your heart out is kind of the way I would put it?
That is actually both.
Uh-huh.
You're reciting as well, and you're pouring your heart out. I think there is a very personal relationship with it, with God. Like when something good happens to you, when something bad happens to you, you always go to either your parents or your God for help. And I I think that like they may or may not do anything, but
Yeah.
it gives you a lot of support to
Yeah.
accomplish something.
Well, even if if you have parents that really love you,
Yeah.
they aren't always going to give you exactly what you ask for because
Right.
they know it's not the best thing for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could see that. Yeah. Do you believe yourself to be basically a good person?
Yes, I would like to believe so.
Yeah. Do you do you think there's bad people out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are bad people out there.
I mean, I guess I have to say, well, if we're good people, and maybe we feel we're going to heaven when we die, or there'll be a better place or reward or something. Like, what do you think would be the difference between you and a bad person? How is it that you're good and someone else is bad?
It's their personal choice. The situations because of the personal choice.
Yeah.
For example, being honest and being truthful is a personal choice.
Yeah.
Right? Being dishonest is again a personal choice. You be dishonest in a situation.
Yeah.
That dishonesty brings you some particular thing. That's a ripple effect with that, and that affects you in some way.
Yeah.
Like you are being honest and you are being truthful in a particular way. Like there has been a situation where I've been honest about my a certain situation, and people have come forward and helped me.
Yeah.
There has also been a situation like people have used that knowledge against me.
Right.
And but I always choose to be in the honest or being truthful to your words.
Yeah.
And I think that has brought good things to me rather than a lot of bad things in my personal experience.
Yeah.
People might have.
Do you think people that choose the dishonesty? Do you think it's based on, well, in science they say nurture or nature? You're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Is it based on their upbringing, or is it based on their genetic code, or what do you think? Where do you think that evil comes from, or those evil choices? The bad choices.
I think it's the people who you surround yourself with. So, for example, you surround yourself with bad people, people who are dishonest. You will become dishonest. You surround yourself with good people, you will become honest.
Yeah. So it's kind of a string of moral decisions.
Yeah.
Who you want to be around. If one lie leads to another, so or honesty brings reward, or that sort of thing.
It's a personal choice, right?
Yeah.
It's a personal choice, and nobody is forcing you with that choice. It is my individual will, and I choose that decision. No, nobody can make decisions for you.
Yeah.
Right? You choose to be in this particular situation. You choose to talk like this.
Yeah.
So the effects of those decisions will affect you. Anyways, if you do good things, I believe good things would come to you.
Yeah. And I have been pretty impressed with different people from other religions that I've talked to. It seems like they have pretty high moral standards and that sort of thing. I do think that there's a big connection between, well, maybe I should ask you. I won't say what I'm thinking. How important is your family and your family's reputation a part of that?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, how do you define your reputation? Like, what are you?
Like you could dishonor your family if you make bad moral choices. So here's my feeling is that there are some cultures in the world where family, and you're not just thinking of, like in America, it's like very individualistic.
Right.
So it's your own, like we think our moral decisions really only affect us, and they don't. They affect everyone around us.
Right.
But we don't often see that, and so I guess I'm just wondering, in your experience of Hinduism or growing up in it, like how important is family and not wanting to dishonor your family? Is that a big part of it, or is that am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a two-pronged question. I will answer the first part. There is a very deep relationship with your family.
Yeah.
No doubt with that. You always do good things. Most of them live for their family. Most of them work for their family. I think a lot of things. I think the lot of young generation, like some of my friends, they want to do things which will help the family in some or the other way. Some of them are only working hard because of the family.
Yeah.
To provide a good living mean or a good lifestyle for them or things like that.
Yeah.
Now, coming to the second part, the reputation. Now, again, there are. This is again my individual interpretation of things. Now, there are some things which may affect family from. Like there might be a bad effect on them, or people will say things like that. Like I don't know. It is pretty common. I think it's pretty common around the world. Like if a son makes a decision which is not financially stable, or a daughter makes a decision which is
foolish
not
decision. Of
so which is not financially stable. But other people start talking. He's this old. He's not being able to stand on his own feet. Like it's
that's pretty dishonoring.
That's pretty
embarrassing.
Embarrassing because that's something which the kid will not have to face that. It's the parents who have to face that, because someone would always come, or the relatives or your friends and family will always come and ask you, hey, what is he doing?
Yeah.
So is he earning anything?
Yeah.
Or is he giving anything to you? So things like that. I think from my perspective, you should take decisions which are in which is good for you and your family from a long-term perspective. They might not see that from look, they're also, you have to understand, like your father and your mother is also an individual. They've been born and brought up in a particular kind of nature, and they're trying to give best things. They want to play safe for you. Maybe you are at a very young age where you want to be very aggressive, but you should bring that confidence, and you should again, as a kid, you should value your word. You give your word to your family, say, I will do these things. It will have these repercussions, and these are the potential cons, and these are the potential pros. Hope you support me, and you take everyone in the loop, and then you go forward with that decision, rather than being like I think communication plays a very important role. Where you asked the first question, like how deep is your relationship? So if you do that with your family, I think that the parents have your brother or sister has the strength to talk to other people. Hey, he's doing these things. I want him to take this decision, or she's doing these things. I want him to do these things.
So how long have you been here? In
2 years.
Okay. Did you come here for college? School?
I came here for college.
IIT? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Still there?
I graduated a week back.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
master's level? Or?
Master's.
Oh, okay. Have you had, would you say you're aware of Christianity, like maybe growing up? Well, I know there's a lot of Catholic schools. A lot of people have gone to Catholic schools in India. What's your exposure to Christianity?
I think I have pretty good exposure. I have a lot of friends who are from Christian beliefs. And not just Christian beliefs. I like, friends are made not looking at the religions, right? So I have friends.
They just happen to be Christian.
And there are a lot of people out there. Like I have friends from Jainism, Sikhism, Muslims. So I have friends from a lot of.
And would you say you have a good understanding of what Christianity is about? Like, has anyone taken the time to explain it to you? Or?
People do share their thoughts and beliefs, but not at a. I'm a very curious person. I like to know things in a little bit detail. So I might have to tell you, I've not gone in that detail. The concept.
So basically, you're kind of like an outsider to Christianity, but you know a little bit about it. What's your general impression of the Christian religion, and what it's about? We have something that's called the gospel. You've heard that word before, and that's kind of like a summary of, Christian belief. If you were to summarize it, what would be your understanding of it at this point?
I might have to say I don't know much detail about it.
What do you think would be the main teaching or the main idea with Christianity?
I think there are a lot of verses inside Bible, which is, I think.
Did you say words?
Words and verses.
Oh, verses. Okay.
And verses inside Bible, I think, which relates, and I think on a generic level, I feel like every religion teaches you to be a good human being first. I think Christianity does that wonderfully. And there are humble people out there. I think most of my friends, whoever I have met so far, are pretty humble, are pretty generous. And their behavior as well.
So I do think that Christianity has a lot in common with other religions of the world. And one of the reasons is because it teaches, according to Christianity, you're familiar with the whole idea that there was Adam and Eve, and they were told, one rule: you can eat from all of these trees, but don't eat from the one tree. And when they did that, the Bible says their eyes were open and they knew good from evil, right? So So, and then they realize we're naked. God knows. They go and run and hide. Because He knows He knows what we did. And we can't hide from Him, but we're going to try anyway. And so they had this great relationship with their Creator, with God, but then it was destroyed when they ate. They did something God said don't do. But the point with their eyes being opened is that they were given a moral conscience.
Right.
And so as a Christian, I would say we all have in common the fact that we're creatures made in God's image. In other words, we can relate to God. We're intelligent beings. There's a lot of ways in which we can relate to our Creator, and He wants to have a relationship with us.
Right.
More than any other part of His creation. Just because we're intelligent beings and we have emotions. And but then when we decided we're going to go our own way and do our own thing and decide right from wrong, and basically it was all centered around that one little decision, but that was kind of representative of every little decision we make. Now that we know right from wrong, if we tell a lie or if we steal or if we hurt someone with our words, which Jesus said is the equivalent of murder, if we do those things, we're breaking our relationship with God all over again. It's kind of like like that initial eating from that tree was, they knew the rule, don't do it, and they did it anyway. And so as a Christian, I would say everybody in the world, whether they have a Christian background or not, has that moral sense of right and wrong.
Right.
We might disagree culturally, on, do you drive on the right side of the road or the left, whatever, but so there's differences, but we all believe there is right and wrong that kind of goes above and beyond our own beliefs. Like I can't just go out and say, okay, now I believe child torture is a great thing. I'm not gonna like change my morals just like that. It's something that's bigger than me. And so this is this idea that it's a God-given moral conscience. And so when you were saying that all the religions teach good moral values, I'd agree. It's like we know right from wrong, and these religions, all the different religions, if they've been around for any number of generations, they're basically teaching that. Otherwise, if they didn't teach that, they'd basically like kill themselves off.
Of course.
And I think that so as a Christian, there's exclusive claims that Christ made that He's the only way to God. Other religions would say, okay, and actually a lot of Christians don't even understand this. All the different religions deal with the fact that we know right from wrong and we don't keep it. Like let me ask you this. Have you ever told a lie? You were talking about how you often tell the truth and choose, but have you told lies?
Yeah.
When you did it, did you know it was wrong?
Yeah.
Usually, right?
Yeah.
So you made immoral choices, right? Have you ever taken anything that didn't belong to you?
When I was a kid, yes.
Yeah. Did you know it was wrong? I shouldn't take that, but it's not mine, but I'm going to take it anyway?
Like at that point of time, it was too young. So then I was taught by my parents, you should not do these.
Yeah.
And return back this thing to the other kid.
Yeah. Okay. And so have you ever even downloaded something off the internet or taken credit for something that's not yours or anything? It's like you're working on the clock and you're using it for personal time. I mean, that's all. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It all fits in the same category. And we might think that oh, these are not big things, but I'm sure Adam and Eve thought, well, I'll just eat from that apple. It's not a big thing. But God said, don't do it. And that's what made it a big thing. And so even when we do these little things, we're still going against our God-given moral conscience.
Yeah.
And so all the different religions of the world deal with the fact that we've somehow broken our moral conscience, and how can we make up for it? And so maybe we can do religious things, like religious rituals, or give to the poor, or go to services and say a number of prayers. Or every religion has different ideas on how that can be resolved.
Right.
And so it's kind of this idea that, okay, I've done a lot of bad things, went against my conscience. What are some good religious things, or maybe just good moral things, practical things I can do for my neighbor that can make up for it? And so the thing that makes Christianity unique is it says the good things that we do, we ought to do anyway. We're not being a special person for doing that. We're just being the kind of person God created us to be.
Right.
So and I think you would say this too. If someone fell right here, you'd get up and help them up.
Definitely. Definitely.
And you're just being a human being. You're not being a good human being. You're being a human being the way God made you, and He gave you your health and your energy and your sense of right and wrong and all of that, and you should use it for good, right?
Yes.
So if it's a balanced scale, and I've done some bad things, but okay, I got these good things I've done, but then God says, yeah, but you should do those anyway. Okay, let's take them off the balance scale.
Yeah.
So Christianity says, yeah, we don't have anything good on the balance scale that we shouldn't do anyway. But what about the bad things? What about all the different ways we've eaten from our own forbidden fruit and done things that we know God doesn't want us to do? And so the bad news, because there's good news in Christianity, that's what gospel means, but it only makes sense in the context of the fact that there's bad news. The bad news is we can't save ourselves. So there's nothing good that we can do that can outweigh the bad things that we've done, because the good we should do anyway.
Yeah.
So that's bad news, and the really bad news is that cuts us off from God. So so the understanding is that if that continues into eternity, that would be hell. We're cut off from our Creator, and yet we were made to have a eternal existence. So when Jesus talked about hell, I mean, he was talking about a real, literal cutting off from God and being punished for the sins we've done. You know, that's bad news. The good news is, but Jesus, who taught all about this, did something about it. He took the punishment that we deserve. And so the same God who loves us as people also loves justice, and there must be a punishment for sin.
Yeah.
And so, but he takes the form of a person and takes that punishment for us. And so that's why we want, like I believe, like Christians who, so I believe some people, I mean, in any religion, you have people growing up in that religion who don't even really understand their own religion. Right? I'm sure that's the way it is in Hinduism and other religions. Christianity, the same thing. A lot of Christians you'll talk to and you'll say, well, you believe you're going to heaven? Yeah. Well, why? I don't know. That's what they told me at church. I mean, they don't know why. Or because I do all these good things. I go to church every Sunday,
Yeah.
think I should go to heaven for that. And what Christianity really teaches is we are sinners. We've broken God's laws. We don't deserve heaven. We would deserve to be punished. We could end up there ourselves, or Jesus died for our sins. We can put our faith in him and trust him, and the sins that counted against us, he says, no, they can count against me, and your sins are forgiven. And so our response then is, well, if that's true, so some people think, well, that means we're forgiven forever. We can just go out and sin and do whatever we want. But they don't really understand the kind of change that comes over a person when they realize, I've been set free. I'm set free from sin, from the punishment for sin. How can I thank God? How can I live in? You talked about living in gratitude.
Yeah.
That's the gratitude of the Christian. Is that's the gratitude I feel every day. It's like, God, I'm part of your family. I'm going to heaven. I'm going to be with you when I die. But I don't deserve it. I deserve to go to hell, really. But you died for me. I don't know why. I know there's no reason why. It's nothing I've done. But I am sure glad that someone told me about Jesus and helped me to put my faith in him. And so I live in this constant sense of wonder and gratitude. But that's not what's going to save me. What saves me is what Jesus already did on the cross. You're familiar with the whole cross story and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you read much of the Bible at all, or?
Not much.
Yeah. The Bible is, I do realize the Bible is a very big book. It is, though, a collection of books. So there's like 66 books in the Bible. Most of them are about the history of the Jewish people, because when God decided to pursue us as human beings and set up, really, I mean, it's like, so he knew ahead of time, I'm going to come into that world and I'm going to die for these people's sins, right? But Jesus did, when he came, he wasn't just some anonymous person from whatever tribe. It was a group of people that God had worked with for many, many generations. And so there's prophecies of this coming Messiah, and so there's a lot of connections between the books of, the earlier books in the Old Testament and some of the other ones that came after that, and then there's prophecies that came through in the New Testament. And so even though it's separate books written by different people, about 40 different authors, there's a lot of connections between them that God put there to help verify that, there is one God and he's in control of this whole thing, and it's like this big story that's unfolding all the way through, even though it's written by a lot of different people. So I feel like the more I read the Bible, the more I believe in it, just because I'm reminded of how God had this plan all along, and I see how it unfolded in history. And so it's not just like believe that book, just be, why circular reasoning, because the book tells you to believe in it. The different authors of the different books verify each other and prove each other correct. And it was written over a period of like 2,000 years. So, it's not something just like one group of people decided we're going to do, and we're going to like,
Right.
and coordinate our efforts. There's no way anyone could have, like, there's no way one person could have figured all this out and done it unless it was God,
Of course.
So I will just say, like, I'm actually a history teacher, high school history
nice.
teacher, and I mean, there's a lot of historical support for the Bible. It's not just believing in it in blind faith. I mean, I do think it does take a certain amount of faith. I could never prove any, the supernatural things that Jesus did, for example. The biggest one would be him rising from the dead, his resurrection.
Right.
But there's a lot of evidence for it. So it's like I don't have to have a blind faith. I can have a reasonable faith,
Right.
And so I think a person could be a rational human being, an intelligent, educated human being, believe in science. Science to me is only possible because there is an ordered. It's only possible because we live in an ordered universe that has patterns, and we recognize those patterns, and we can develop truths based on those patterns.
Right.
And the only reason there's patterns is because there's an intelligent mind behind it all. There's an orderer.
Right.
So people say, "Do you believe in science or religion?" I say, "Well, I believe in science, and that science came from God, from religion or from God." So, what's your major?
Marketing analytics.
Okay, so. And do you have a job lined up? You just graduated, so
I have a job.
here in America, or congratulations on that too.
Thank you so much.
Did they like recruit you from the class? Okay, nice. You're gonna be in Chicago?
No, I'm moving to California.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's
How soon are you moving?
I'll be moving soon, like in 10-15 days.
Did you have a big graduation? Like,
No, because of COVID.
Oh, okay.
It was all virtual.
oh really?
Yeah.
So your family was there, but not
Yeah.
really there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when was the last time you saw your family? Been here for 2 years, and
No, I've been. I think I was there last December.
oh, okay.
So.
Even during COVID, or before that?
No. So 2000. I came in here in 2019. I went back in 2020 December for
Oh, okay.
1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was back here.
Okay.
But it's good to have them. Like I wish they were here just to see things, but
Yeah. Well, I want to. My wife's probably waiting for me.
Oh.
I know she is, but she also knows that because I try to make a habit of doing these kind of conversations on a daily basis.
Oh,
like
nice.
I say, like usually when I'm on my way home from work on the weekends, sometimes just whenever I can fit it in.
But
So-
there are a lot of really like you taught me something new today. So
Good, what?
Like about the teachings, what you just said.
Yeah.
I think I believe in that. And, I think it helps someone to be a better human being. And
I feel like there's two reasons to be good. Well, there's a lot of reasons to be good, but two main ones when it comes to religion. One is to try to earn a better afterlife, right?
Yeah.
The other one is, which I believe is the Christian way, is it's been earned for me through what Jesus did, and so now I'm living it out of gratitude. And so I feel like that's a much freer, better way to live, rather than just trying to kind of prove myself and prove that I'm a good person,
So the big issue with that is how many people take time in a day to realize what they just did today.
Like to really have gratitude. And,
being present to what I have today. Like I'm living here. Like for me, being fully vaccinated,
Yeah.
breathing a fresh air.
Yeah.
It's like I'm thankful towards that.
Yeah.
And it as of today, it's a privilege to breathe the fresh air in a park like this.
Did you have the mask on like all the way up until?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of went with you're 6 feet away from someone,
Yeah.
or you have a mask on indoors. So I wore masks out of consideration for the people I talked to. So, but yeah, I've never been worried outside. Like in the fresh air, I feel like the sunshine kills the virus, and and things like that. So yeah, I haven't. I've done a lot, without masks on, but nothing where I feel like I'm like really offending any other people. I've just never felt like I had to. I don't even know. Like I've never felt like it limited me. I just. It's hard because I do feel like the science supports that we really don't need it. Is that it's not, that there's not that much science behind it, and I feel like people have gotten into a habit now that like they've gone beyond the science. You know, it's just a habit now or whatever. So, but I better get going. I'm going to give you something to read here since you are transitioning in life and have a little. I think you probably have a little time.
Oh, thank you.
I think you'll like that. So it's about who Jesus is and why would we believe in him, and what are some of, like what's some of the evidence for the Bible, number one, and for Jesus' resurrection. And
nice.
It's I got another one here I want to give you. Find it. This one, it's kind of a comparison of the different world religions. And so it's basically the idea is like what makes Christianity unique. So it is comparing it to Hinduism and Islam and Buddhism. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you'll like that too.
So thank you. Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Why do you do this every day? Like, is there a particular reason to it? Why?
Like if you go to my channel, you'll see that I've done this for a long time. Well, actually, like I haven't been making videos until the last couple of years, but the first video I made was probably 8 years ago. Been doing this about 10 years. So, for a long time, so in Christianity, you know, Christianity, like, you got the cross, right? It's kind of, I mean, of course, that's where Jesus died, so that's our symbol, right? But it also is kind of convenient because you could think of it as like the vertical part represents our relationship with God, and the horizontal part represents our relationship with man, with other people.
Okay.
And so, you know, like according to my relationship with God as a Christian, you know, now that I'm a Christian and he saved me and I want to live out my faith and live out, you know, like he loved me so much he gave his son to die for me, and like he forgave me. How can I not go out and forgive others and love others and try to, you know, like Jesus said, whatever you do for the least of these, you know, like people that need help in the world, you're doing it for me, right? So it's a way of living out my faith. So a lot of Christians, I think for a long time, thought, well, it's enough just to you know, like tell people, you know, the gospel,
right? And
then I'll just, you know, I'm good the rest of the week. And so for a long time, I felt like the real shortfall within Christianity and the church is that people preach, but they don't practice what they preach. And so I've always been involved with like reaching out to like the poor, and the Bible talks about reaching out to the poor and the oppressed and trying to serve people. And so that's why I'm a high school teacher in an inner city school. And but now lately it's, you know, religion's kind of under assault and by secularism, you know, just society and Christianity in particular, to the point where Christians feel like, well, I shouldn't talk about my beliefs because that's imposing them on other people. Maybe I'll just live them out and I'll just be a nice person and I'll help the poor and I'll do all these different things. So then people look at you and they think, wow, he's really a nice person. And if you don't believe that you should tell people why you're nice, because Jesus died for my sins, I want to live out the love that he's given me to others. If we don't say that, then people are just going to think we're nice people and we're getting all the credit. Right. No, God deserves all the credit. So the reason I'm making the videos is for other church people. I'm trying to show them by example. This is something we need to be doing, is having these kind of conversations and getting to know other people. I learned so much about, you could tell like I know quite a bit about Hinduism already before I talked to you, and it's because I've talked to other people too. And I talked to a Sikh last week. If you look on my video channel, you'll see that conversation.
Oh, sure.
I've talked, you know, with all sorts of people, and then I usually write about it too. And so I'm trying to relate Bible passages, you know, to something that we talked about in the video. So I'll post our video and then it'll be up there a while, and then I'll think about it and I'll probably write something in a week or so. But so it's trying to set a good example for other Christians. And a lot of people, like, I could just like make 5 videos and then what would I have? 5 videos from 10 years ago. No, this is something we need to be doing constantly. So I just keep making more videos, because by example, you know, the example is this is something that needs to be a lifestyle, not something we just did when, you know, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
That's a good question.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
thank you for chatting with me.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and God bless you on your
thank you so much.
Travels, your new job.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn this off, and I'll say a quick prayer for you for your upcoming life changes.
Sure.
Okay? All right. some reason I don't feel like